This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Right now on 1480 K-Ray, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 K-Ray. And good morning. Welcome to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti, with you for about an hour today. And my apologies on my side. It's just that doing two radio stations is starting to get to the pipes. And again, whatever we contracted as far as...
I already know what I have, so...
Well, again, I had both the head and the chest, and now it's... I feel good. I mean, other than that, I feel good. It's just right in my throat. It just can't get rid of the gravelness that's in my throat. So kind of back off a little bit here today, but we'll try to get into as many subjects as we can. We had a very good discussion yesterday as I look back with Cody Tucker on the college side of UW basketball and even a check ahead towards football. But, let's take a look at professional hoops as we are getting, we're down to the nitty-gritty as we get ready for playoffs.
Most teams down to their final 5, if not 4, 3 games in the season. So playoff seeding, or at least teams clinching, is happening not as quickly as, again, you would like to think, especially just how tightly the races are. But, again, looking at the standings very quickly, especially in the West, we know Nuggets, they are still your number one team. They have clinched the Northwest Division. The only other team that has clinched is out of the Southwest. That is Memphis, the Grizzlies, who sit in that number 2 spot. The 3 games behind the Denver Nuggets. So, again, Nuggets have not yet clinched that number 1 overall seed. So they'll have at least a little bit of work to do. But behind them right now, of teams guaranteed in the playoffs, or at least, again, sitting in that spot. Number 3, Sacramento Kings. They're looking, I think, if they win tonight or if Phoenix loses, that Kings will be your Pacific Division champs, which is unbelievable to think about. The Kings, again, sitting in that 3rd spot. Suns behind them at 4. 5th is the LA Clippers, and 6th is the Golden State Warriors. So how about 4 out of 5 teams in the Pacific Division, or at least, 4 out of the 5, again, all sit right now in guaranteed playoff spots. Again, Golden State rounds out in that 6th spot. In the wild card, or at least in that play-in tournament format, teams as of right now, Minnesota Timberwolves are a half game behind the Golden State Warriors. New Orleans Pelicans, they are at least 1.5 after losing last night to the Golden State Warriors. LA Lakers sitting in the 9th spot. Oklahoma City Thunder, they're in their 10th spot. Team that's out of it right now, at least they are tied virtually, but again, the edge goes the Oklahoma City Thunder. Dallas Mavericks, they're also sitting at 14.5 behind the Denver Nuggets, same with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So Dallas on the outside looking in. Very interesting on that side. Eastern Conference very quickly. We'll just give you your top 6 teams because, again, we're more focused on the West out here, especially with the Nuggets. Top 6 right now, Milwaukee Bucks, number 1 seed. They have clinched their division. Behind them, teams that have already clinched a playoff spot. Celtics at number 2. 3 is the Philadelphia 76ers. 4 is the Cleveland Cavaliers. How about that? 5 is your New York Knicks. They have not clinched a playoff spot. And number 6 is the Brooklyn Nets. So that's how it shapes up right now. Again, Nuggets still primed in that first position. They've won 4 in a row after, again, losing some interesting contests over the past week. They were 5-5. They're 51-24. The Nuggets, again, going back to that interesting stretch for them where, again, they lost, again, at home, on the road, losing to some interesting teams. Again, you lose at home against Chicago, the Bulls, on the road against San Antonio. San Antonio is one of the worst teams right now in the league.
But Denver Nuggets are one of the worst teams on the road as well, too.
Well, again, Golden State has something else to say about that. Home, they lose to the Brooklyn Nets, and then on the road against the Toronto Raptors. So, and then also, too, in that stretch of, again, around that at least kind of 4-game losing streak, which, again, they've now turned into a 4-game winning streak. They also, too, did lose on the road at Madison Square Garden against the New York Knicks. So, again, an interesting stretch there for the Nuggets who, again, still have, I wouldn't say a lot to play for, but, again, you still want that number 1 seeding. But an interesting slump stretch that, again, if you're a Nuggets fan, do you worry as a team playing like that down the stretch? That does it foresee the future of what could happen to the Nuggets in the playoffs?
No. It's that part of the season, Nick, where fatigue kicks in. some of those nagging injuries that you've been dealing with throughout the course of the year have kind of, reared its ugly head again. And again, too, in case of Mike Malone, got to start taking a look at, we're only 3 games on top for that number 1 seed. However, I got to start looking at, sitting down some guys. We got to start, gearing up for the playoffs.
Which, again, usually does not prove to be all that well for teams, again, whether it's the NBA or the NHL. Again, that's not the smartest thing. Again, that 4-game losing streak, which, again, started at the early part of March, again, that was their longest losing streak of the entire season. So, again, I think a little concerning. Again, we know with the Nuggets, again, plain and simple for this team this season, it's making the NBA Finals or bust. Not necessarily winning that championship. Again, does the Nuggets have enough to win the NBA championship? Again, whoever they face out of the East, they could be competitive, but I still don't think they're the best team in all of the NBA. But it is something that, again,
who do you think is the best team right now? Your opinion.
Honestly, again, still got to root for the Golden State Warriors. Again,
Absolutely.
We know how that team can turn it up in the playoffs. Again, you got to respect they are the defending, at least, NBA champs. Again, you look at out of the East, again, Milwaukee, recent champions. Boston, who had a good series last year with the Golden State Warriors. Memphis, who knows with the Grizzlies, even though, again, with the John Morant situation and all that kind of off the court with him. But, again, the Grizzlies right now, they're one of the hottest teams in all of NBA. They've won 7 in a row.
But
they're chasing the Denver Nuggets.
They seem to always find a way to shoot themselves in the foot. You know what I'm saying? I'm
no
not,
pun intended.
And well, I'm not high on the Grizzlies, to be real honest. You mentioned Boston. Yeah, I'm not going to turn my back on Boston. Obviously, Brooklyn, when they entered the season, they were looking at, hey, it's going to be all or bust for us. And guess what they did? They decided to go bust. So
they sold, but again, they're still sitting right now in a playoff guarantee.
Milwaukee is so. I think this is Boston's Eastern
Milwaukee's
Conference.
the best team in the league right now.
I know,
again,
but
at 54-21.
I still think it's Boston's to win or lose.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, for the Denver Nuggets, it's plain and simple that, again, you got to make it to the NBA Finals for this to consider, at least I would consider, a successful season for this franchise. But you go to years past with this team, albeit, again, they've had the injuries, and, again, they've had their excuses, plain and simple. But it's something that, for the Nuggets, where you are healthy, you got all your pieces, you got to get it done this season. If not, it kind of makes you wonder what's going to happen in the offseason for the Nuggets. For instance, again, if they lose, I say even if they lose the Western Conference Finals, you lose the Western Conference Finals to whoever it may be, you wonder if the Nuggets need to take a look and retool this team where, again, it's not getting it done with what you got with Murray, with, again, Jokic. Again, you got some superstars on this team, but clearly it's not enough to get past and get you into an NBA Finals or at least competing for an NBA championship. So, again, for the Nuggets, that's why I put that much pressure on that team is you got to make it to the NBA Finals. If not, this experiment that's been going on for however many years is clearly not working. And, again, with the Nuggets, are they a beatable team coming up in the playoffs, even sitting at a number 1 seed? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, imagine, and again, we look at those wild card teams or, again, the play-in teams. Again, obviously a lot's got to happen on that side. But, again, can't overlook the LA Lakers. I think Nuggets would fare well against the Timberwolves, Pelicans, and Thunder. But, again, if that 8 seed happens to be, because, again, the Lakers right now sit in that 9, they would have to at least have a longer road to get into the playoffs. But, again, that Lakers team, got to respect them. You got to, again, not so much fear him, but, again, with LeBron, we know what he can do in the playoffs.
Yeah,
we know that he can play smart.
I don't fear the Lakers, but they're like the Warriors right now. They're healthy at the right time. And
healthy-ish.
Well,
Lakers
yeah,
are dealing with injuries.
But same thing with the Warriors. They have kind of battled through injuries, a terrible road season, but at the Chase, they've been kicking butt and taking names. The thing with the Warriors, I think, and again, I'm not worried about them in the playoffs. Do I expect them to be in the Western Conference Finals? Yeah, I expect them no less.
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, as it stands right now, again, Golden State would take on Sacramento. Sacramento being that host team.
And Sacramento's had their way with the Warriors.
And again, if for road issues for the Golden State Warriors, again, it's a small trip to get back and forth from San Fran to Sacramento. So, again, it's not like a cross-country distance to at least go and compete. against a team. So I think, if anything, for Golden State, and especially in that first round, does benefit them if they are to take on a familiar foe, the Sacramento Kings, and again, keep it very low-cal with that travel within California. So, but again, for the Nuggets' sake, though, again, they are the number 1 seed. They've been very impressive this season, but we've been through this dog and pony show with the Nuggets before, where, again, they've been a top-seeded team and found themselves bounced out in the playoffs before even hitting, the Western Conference Finals. So it's a situation that this team, again, as much as, again, rooting for the Golden State Warriors, and I hate to do this, and again, I think Golden State absolutely should make it to the Western Conference Finals. Again, I think that's a team that can absolutely get red hot and probably find some favorability in the playoffs. But Nuggets, you got to imagine that Nuggets have got to get there. They got to get there, but it sits in the back of your mind of, again, what injury will plague them here at the tail end of the season, or, again, how will they find a way to just collapse in on themselves as they've done in years past?
I would say, like you said with the Nuggets, there's going to be some front office changes, because what the Nuggets did.
Not even front office, but it's something that, again, you got to imagine that if this team does not make it to an NBA Finals, and again, right, I'm not putting them as they got to win championship or bust. It is NBA Finals that has plagued this team for, again, this franchise for however long. If they don't make it to that point, you got to retool, because I think we're at that same impasse as when we saw with the Carmelo Anthony years, where, all right, we got to a Western Conference Finals, we couldn't defeat the LA Lakers, and then we saw that a complete retooling of that team of saying, hey, this experiment is not working.
But what the Nuggets did was they did one good thing, and then they haven't done the rest of it. They kind of left it incomplete. They got the Joker in for they got him signed, but they haven't really built a solid foundation around him. Yes, there are some names around him, but again, look at the Warriors, and just to throw them out there, they made sure their 3, Draymond, Thompson, and Steph, are part of that run that they've had in San Francisco. But with Joker, he's in play. Murray has been okay. Again, what I'm saying, you don't have a 1-2-3 punch. You got a 1-2 punch maybe. And again, I think the Nuggets.
Your three with the Nuggets is Aaron Gordon, and again, he really showed up last year in the playoffs to an extent, gave at least the Warriors a little bit of a fit, but it's something that you have your 3-headed monster-ish. Again, we clearly know that, again, if you're facing off against the Golden State Warriors, I take that 3-headed monster again with Curry, Thompson, and Green over
and
again.
And throw Poole in there too. You throw Poole in for the Warriors.
Yeah.
So, again, like I said, the Nuggets did not basically, it's like taking a test. It's incomplete. And they just did not put that experience on the floor. Warriors got experience on the floor. Yes, I know, again, I know they've got players that have been around, but that's just it. They've been around. Look at Curry, Thompson, Draymond. Warriors. Warriors, okay? Joker is a Nugget. Murray's been a Nugget. But the thing is, they haven't brought in that right blend to, like you said, take them all the way. I see them. Nuggets. I see them possibly exiting in either the championship round or the semifinals.
Yeah, I could see either or, especially with, again, how just tough this Western Conference is. Again, the only false team that I feel is again, very beatable is the Sacramento Kings. Again, how the hell they pulled this off this season? Again, they seem like it's been just kind of that magical year of how the hell they did it. I don't know. But, yeah, Sacramento. Outside of that, again, respect the Clippers, Suns, obviously, with, again, getting Kevin Durant on, even though he's been battling with the injury. Grizzlies, we know that they can be for real. Again, they're one of the hottest teams right now in the NBA. But, yeah, it's going to be tough. Again, Nuggets, I think, benefit of being that 1 seed of, again, the only team Nuggets do not want to see as that 8 seed, which, again, could be a reality, I think will be that reality, is the LA Lakers. I think, plain and simple, if you're the Nuggets and you're Nuggets fans, You don't want to see this Lakers team, especially with LeBron, where, again, he just finds a way. Again, give him all that respect as much as I don't want to. Give him respect that in the playoffs. He knows how to turn into a different animal and again, put teams on his back. Again, go back to the Clevelanders.
And also, too, you can bank on that series going the distance. It's going to be a full boat series. Going back to the Sacramento Kings, you tip your cap to the Kings because, again, they have been the doormats of the West for many, many years.
It's a franchise that, again, years ago was talked about not even being in Sacramento anymore. So, and they were dealing with all the, at least arena issues.
And look, they've moved around, too. So, they used to be the Kansas City Kings. But the thing with Sacramento, they got the right people in the right places. They built through the draft. They don't spend a lot of money in Sacramento. Let's be real candid, Nick. So, again, they have built basically through the farm, and draft
which again paid dividends for Golden State. Clearly, again, look at the dynasty that franchise has become. Where again, you drafted they outside of buying up Kevin Durant, getting him from Oklahoma City. It was a situation that again Curry drafted, Thompson drafted, Green drafted.
And this wasn't done by Kerr either. So again, Kerr came into a great situation.
Yeah, with Mark Jackson, again, at the helm, leading, again, a couple playoff runs. But, Kerr really cleaned it up and made it into a championship caliber, at least, franchise. So, again, Kerr did not start this. It was something that was in the works for quite some time. And, again, has paid off in a big way. So, the Kings doing similar to the Golden State Warriors of developing superstars within. But I think it's a Kings team that is riding high this season. I don't think they are championship caliber this season. I don't think they're Western Conference Final caliber.
I think they go
especially
because
again, I think if it stands right now, the playoffs were to start again 3 versus 6. You're taking on that Golden State team. That's gonna it's gonna prove that
you're gonna be out.
Experience and again, veteran leadership is a lot better than kind of that underclassmen for at least the Sacramento Kings. But
I was just going to ask you, just real quick, Utah and Portland. Are they the disappointments of the West this year?
No, Dallas.
Dallas is?
I think Dallas is plain and simple. And, again, it proves you that Kyrie is just a cancer wherever he goes to.
Yeah.
Again, whether it was Boston, whether it was Brooklyn. Again, I think his best years were with Cleveland, but we're seeing that Kyrie Irving is just a pure cancer wherever he goes to, killing now Dallas, where Dallas right now sits on, again, they are tied overall, again, with Oklahoma City Thunder, but again, Oklahoma City does get the tiebreaker as of right now. Again, things will change, but again, the Dallas Mavericks, who were in that top 6 seeding kind of midway through the season, post that Kyrie trade, have gone just kind of in a tailspin for whatever reason. That's kind of, again, Utah, a little bit. Portland, didn't expect it because Portland seems like they're just selling off the house left and right. Again, we'll see what happens with Damian Lillard. But Dallas, I would think, is probably the biggest surprise, again, right now, where they might make it, may not make it to the playoffs. Where, again, Dallas, if I remember correctly, again, last year, were they in the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors? Yeah.
Well, here's another deal, too. And
they bought this, the offseason and during the trade. They bought.
Yeah, well, again, you go back to, you mentioned Kyrie. And I'm not going to say he's a cancer, but I think his best days have come and gone. And I don't think he's a great basketball player. Don't get me wrong. Kevin Durant, once he left the Warriors, and again, got injured with the Achilles tendon, Kevin Durant makes that big move to Brooklyn. It didn't pan out. And it's not panning out in Phoenix because he's oft injured.
Yeah.
So
if he's healthy, I worry about the Suns, without a doubt. They got a lot of talent.
But you look at, you go back to the Warriors. They can get away. I think they've got enough talent right now. They can get away with Steph being on the bench for a little bit of time, Thompson being down, Green being down.
Not really. Again, we saw when one of those pieces were down throughout the regular season that they struggled.
They're at the Mendoza line. Look at the injuries they have gone through.
Yeah.
And they're still playoff contenders, aren't they?
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, you equate him to the Colorado Avalanche, where Avs have dealt with so many injuries this season, but they still find a way to at least kind of float right now in the playoffs, if not take that, again, division title in the Central. Again, for the Warriors, that's going to be improbable to do, at least get that Pacific Division title, but I don't think that Warriors team really cares. They're after, again, back-to-back championships on the NBA level. So, but again, Golden State.
Been there, did it, done it.
They've been there, did it, done it. If they do run into more injuries or, again, someone is having an off night, though, we have seen this team struggle, though. This team has struggled. They've been competitive, but they have struggled throughout the regular season this year when, again, one of those key three have been away or, again, has had an off night. So that's kind of the issue is you need someone to step up, whether it is Gary Payton Jr., who's now officially back, again, whether it is Jordan Poole, Kevin Looney, who has kind of been a little quiet this season. So there's players that, again, outside of the big three for Golden State, have really got to step it up in the playoffs if, in case, one of those three does have an off night or, again, does become injured.
And it's interesting, too, as we sit here and we talk about the Nuggets, 100 miles to the south of us. We kind of expect disappointment. We haven't really jawed much about Memphis. Are they the dark horse?
We know Memphis is good.
Yeah, we know they're good, but are they NBA championship good? I don't think so. Sacramento.
No.
Did they get the Warriors? All the Warriors got to do is win one game in Sacramento. I think they can do that.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Lakers. Are the Lakers going to be dangerous in the playoffs?
Yeah. Not dangerous enough to make it to the Western Conference, or at least win the Western Conference, but I think
can they be a knockoff in the first round?
Yeah, I think they can. Again, if you're a Nuggets fan, again, if you see that Lakers team enter in as that 8 seed, worry. I think that's plain and simply you got to worry about that team. Right now, again, who is championship contender out of the West? Again, yeah, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Suns, Clippers, Warriors. I think out of, again, Sacramento is the only team I don't give any respect to. I just don't think they're ready this season, and they got really fortunate this season. Again, give me any of those five right now that could win it. I'm on the fringe right now with the Clippers. The Clippers kind of go up and down as well too this season, but again, Suns, Warriors, Grizzlies, Nuggets. I think all have a legitimate shot.
And Sacramento, to me, and I might be wrong, but they're kind of like the Utah Jazz. Get into the playoffs, good thing. It's a first for Sacramento in a long time. But the thing is, with the Kings, they're going to be like the Jazz. They'll hang around and then they're done. So, and we might be wrong. And it wouldn't hurt me to say that we are wrong. But the thing is, I'm not sold on Sacramento. Yeah, I'm like you. I'm a Warriors fan. I like Golden State, even at that number 6 hole right now. And, again, you get me the three-headed monster on the floor, nobody beats them.
Yeah, as we need to move on from NBA notes again, as we've already at least hit midway point of the show. But very quickly looking at the remaining schedule for the Denver Nuggets, home against New Orleans, on the road against Phoenix, home against the Golden State Warriors, on the road for 3 straight against Houston, Phoenix, and Utah, and then round out at home against Sacramento. So, again, you got some top-tier teams outside of Utah and Houston that you will oppose that all those teams are fighting for seeding.
They should be 500. What you gave me as far as the schedule there, it looks like it's a 500 schedule.
And again, I think all the Nuggets need to do is just win about, two, well, again,
3 would be.
Yeah, 3, I think 3 minimum. So, again, yeah, if they go 500, and should wrap up again as the number 1 seed.
And I'll bet you they'll beat the Warriors in Denver.
They usually do.
Yeah, they'll beat them in Ball Arena. And again, you'll start seeing Kerr with the Warriors once they solidify their spot. They're going to, start resting players because, again, they're going to ramp it up into a different mode for the playoffs.
Yeah. Again, as we talk NBA, at least upcoming, again, we've still got a lot of regular season, or at least the regular season is wrapping up very quickly. Playoffs right around the corner in the NBA. I do want to, at least very quickly before we take a break, talk about at least NCAA men's basketball very quickly. We're down in the Final Four, as we all know. San Diego State out of the Mountain West taking on number 9 seed, at least Florida Atlantic. That'll be coming up here in a few short days, or at least that'll be the first. That'll be Saturday, so that is a 4:09 tip-off time. You can watch that game on CBS. The other CBS matchup, again, on Saturday will be at 6:49, tentative. Miami taking on UConn. Miami a 5 seed, UConn a 4, San Diego State the 5 seed. So again, not a single 1 seed competing in this Final Four. Very quickly,
Miami, the best team money can buy.
UConn. I guess, yeah, you could say that. But who's the best team remaining right now is UConn. I think, plain and simple, it's UConn. I think they could get past Miami.
I don't.
I think in my situation right now, or at least how I've watched a little bit of this NCAA tournament and seen how these teams have played, it wouldn't shock me if FAU could get past San Diego State. I think San Diego State has a legitimate shot of making the at least NCAA championship game, but that FAU team is really good. I think San Diego State has been
really good too, right?
But
now.
the Aztecs have been really fortunate. They have been really fortunate, again, of who they played and just how they've come away with victories here all the way leading up to the Final Four. Again, for me, for the NCAA championship, what I could see ideally, or what I think is going to happen, give me UConn. I think UConn wins the NCAA championship. I think the Huskies are that good of the 4 teams remaining. And then who do they face? I'm at war between FAU and San Diego State, but I'll root for the Mountain West team. Yeah. Aztecs, Huskies.
Here's the way I look at it. It's Miami, the best team money can buy, and the least nil team, San Diego State. Those are going to be the 2 teams in the championship round. The Huskies are good. I'm not taking anything away. Nothing against Florida Atlantic. I think San Diego State, they're playing their best basketball, and you're not all that impressed with it, but they are playing their best basketball right now on both sides, offensively, defensively. I don't think Florida Atlantic is going to be able to keep up. San Diego State,
my opinion, San Diego State has had probably the easier path to get to the Final Four.
And
again, Alabama with all the off-court issues, again with the whole at least homicide incident and all that jazz that's been going on with the Crimson Tide. Again, you look at them again getting past Creighton. Creighton, no disrespect, but again, it's Creighton. They're not really that. They're a solid team, but they're not that powerhouse to get over.
Yeah, they're also mid.
San Diego State, who again had
mid-tier.
a struggle early on against Furman, the 13th seed, again eventually winning that contest, and again not at least looking back to that first round. Again, San Diego State barely got past Charleston at 12. So again, San Diego State has been very fortunate. Again, I'll pull for San Diego State to get to that championship, but that's why I go and pause and say, I think FAU is just a little bit better.
But San Diego State always plays to their competition. Again, sorry to pick on Wyoming, but again.
Yeah, they played down to Wyoming.
They played down to Wyoming, and then all of a sudden they ramp it up. Do I see this one again? Florida Atlantic's going to push them right out of the box. I see this one going down probably, like I said, I'm giving you San Diego and 5 in this one. I think San Diego wins this one like an 80 to 75 score, 75-70, somewhere around that number. Miami, for some reason, I just feel
Miami
like
doesn't seem impressive either.
They're not, but they're just
UConn again of winning by nearly 30 points over Gonzaga.
But
that is
UConn
huge. That is massively impressive.
UConn is like that lunch bucket crowd, and they should win. But for some reason, Miami seems to pull that ace out of the deck, and they'll win it, whether it's underneath or they're going to win it at the free throw line. They just seem to find a way to pull it out. And I think both these games, to be real honest, in the semifinals, I think are going to both be very close.
Like I said, I go San Diego State just to pull for the Mountain West. I think they'll face against UConn. My heart kind of pulls for San Diego State. In my mind, I think it'll be FAU versus UConn in the NCAA championship. But either way, again, whoever opposes UConn is not winning the NCAA championship. I'm crowning Huskies right now to say that they are the champions. Again, you talk about this Miami team, their road to the Final Four. again, has not been impressive as well, too. Again, close one against Drake. Again, winning pretty big against Indiana, but again, the Hoosiers, not really all that impressive.
And again,
I did have Houston in my
teams-
bracket as national champions, but again, they got exposed mightily that they weren't ready.
Let me
Miami
interrupt
getting
you.
past there, and then very quickly Miami defeating a Texas Longhorn team that again has had issues.
You go with San Diego State and you go with Miami, where they, like you said, haven't really been tested. Now but then again too, Nick, they haven't had to exert a lot of energy to get to where they're at. So again, I see San Diego State ramping it up another notch, and Miami has found ways to win. I don't see any reason why they should lose.
Yeah, like I said, UConn,
My
San Diego
bracket's
State,
ruined anyway.
UConn wins, so that's how it is. But again, they don't really have a dog in the fight. Clearly, again, with at least my school not even remotely at least qualifying this season. So, but again, it's interesting to see at least a couple mid-majors within there competing, especially with FAU again, or at least with San Diego State out of the Mountain West Conference. So again, kind of interesting that the Blue Bloods. It's kind of nice this season for the Final Four that again the Blue Bloods, not one of them is in it. That again you see new, fresh life. And again, new opportunities, especially for San Diego State. If the Aztecs are able to complete the kind of magical season, that again they'd pick up their first ever program, at least NCAA championship of program history. So, kind of exciting that again you got fresh faces in.
I haven't been this excited about
outside of UConn. I guess UConn could be considered a blue blood because again they've won it before. So,
but with San Diego State, and we're going to go to break here right after I get done with my comments. But it's exciting for the Mountain West Conference. A couple reasons. A, we know that San Diego State may not be part of the Mo West next year. And B, I look back at that run that Rick Majerus had at Utah, and it was kind of exciting. Like you said, seeing fresh faces in there, except for the Huskies. The Huskies, they have been able to, dance a few times. But I sit here and look at this Final Four, and dependent on, again, you look at the markets. Miami's a pretty big market. Connecticut,
you draw New York.
San Diego State, and then.
What do you mean, San Diego State? You'd probably pull in again, probably
you
from
think-
San Diego and
You
maybe
think
LA.
SoCal? Well,
I
anyway.
think plain and simple. Yeah, again, I think that the only one
But
that's
there's
probably
no
hurting is
representation
Florida
as the
Atlantic.
Midwest. That's the only thing that's not represented in this Final Four. Anyway, my point being, though, like I said, I'm kind of excited for San Diego State because, again, it reminds me of that run that Utah had with Rick Majerus, and hopefully they can go to that next level. All right, we're going to be back. Take a time out, come back, talk NHL, getting close to the playoffs as well there. Back after these words.
For almost 60 years, 1480 K-Ray has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both K-Ray and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proietti at 307-637-0301.
For over 30 years and still delivering the results you expect is Shine Auto Repair and Service. Hi, this is Larry Proietti again for Cars in downtown Cheyenne, reminding you that John and his staff are there to take care of your vehicle's woes. From oil change and replacing windshield wipers to digging deep into fixing your heating and air conditioning unit or fixing your brakes and shocks. You can depend on Shine Auto Repair and Service for taking care of most minor repairs. And most importantly, John is a TechNet professional, which means he is one of the best nationally when it comes to getting your car or truck back on the road as soon as possible. Check him out online at technetprofessional.com. Don't wait until the last minute. Have your vehicle serviced by one of the best in Cheyenne. Shine Auto Repair and Service at 604 West Lincoln Way. Call for an appointment at 632-0498. That's 307-632-0498. Open Monday through Friday.
John Mason here for Lincoln Way Liquor. The past few months have been great. Thank you, Cheyenne, for making us the fastest growing liquor store for 2020, 2021, and 2022. We really are different. You save 2% on all cash purchases. You get 2% credit for future purchases. You get free ice with purchases over $10. And we have the best deals in town. Please try the convenience of our modern fast food type drive-thru. That's Lincoln Way Liquor, 2801 East Lincoln Way, next door to Lincoln Way Pond.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're going to love it, and you're going to love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-245-1537. 800-245-1537. 800-245-1537. That's 800-245-1537.
Winter driving in Wyoming. Are you prepared? Winter storms strike quickly across Wyoming's high plains and the mountains. When they do, driving conditions can deteriorate rapidly and become very challenging. Make sure your vehicle is ready for the elements and you have an emergency preparedness kit available. Driving on slick roads, always remember slower speed, acceleration, steering, and braking. Also turn off the cruise control and always buckle up. Ice and snow. Take it slow. Know before you go. For travel info, call 511 or online at wyoroad.info. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Otherwise, for today, partly sunny, expected daytime high near 42, partly cloudy for tonight, low down to 24 degrees. Mostly sunny and breezy for tomorrow. We're calling for a daytime high near 56. Winds southerly at 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30. And for Thursday night, we're calling for a mostly cloudy night with a chance of rain showers during the evening. Rain and snow mixed after midnight. Our low dropping down to 27 degrees with breezy conditions. You know, it's interesting with the NCAA tournament. It does capture a lot of our focus, even though it's on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now we're going to go Saturday and then into the championship round on Monday. But it kind of takes the focus off. You know, we are keeping our eye on the NBA playoff situation. We're also keeping our eye on the National Hockey League. Baseball,
I was going to say, I've been more in tune with NHL. Again, obviously,
baseball for me is kind of taking a back seat.
Yeah.
I'll catch a couple innings here and there in spring training.
The only thing that's caught my eye with MLB is more so, again, the at least
the oddities.
It doesn't even have to deal with, again, more of the play from spring training. Again, spring training to me, again, is a complete joke. But it's something that, again, the pitch clock, all the issues. Again, we've had umpires go a little, at least nutso with, again, kind of power trips. It's more of kind of the technical issues and just kind of wackiness and all these kind of rumors that MLB is tossing out. Obviously, again, the World Baseball Classic took some attention away from spring training. But, yeah, hard to believe that baseball is just right around the corner. Again, it's hard to comprehend it, especially here in this state where, again, we're still dealing with 30s and again, snow temperatures where it still feels like it's, January at this point. But anyways, again, we'll talk a little bit MLB, especially with the Rockies, where, again, I was right yesterday on, again, predicting where they were going to be at to open the season. Again, they are always on the road, and they'll be taking on the San Diego Padres in a 4-game stand. But before we get into that, again, NHL news and notes, especially with the Colorado Avalanche, they're making a push to at least take over that Central Division. Right now, again, they have played one less game than the Minnesota Wild. They're a point behind the Minnesota Wild, so that puts them in a prime position to at least pick up a victory. That'd be 2 points, vaults them over the Minnesota Wild. Again, Avs right now sitting in that second spot. Dallas Stars, how about that team again? They were kind of in that Central Division lead for the longest time. They had a little bit of a rough go of it. They went 6-3-1 over the past 10, but they have won at least once. They also do have a game, at least lead ahead of the Avalanche. So, again, they are tied, both of these, at 94 points. So that's why the Avs right now have that at least tiebreaker, just due to the fact that, again, the Avs have played one less game than the Dallas Stars, so we'll see how that shapes up. So, again,
and injuries are starting to catch up with these teams, too, now.
Yes and no. Again, Avs still dealing with, again, concussion protocols and, again, still recoveries from injuries. Dallas, yeah, I got hit with a little bit. Minnesota, again, as well. But, again, it's bound to happen here as we get towards the tail end of, again, an 82-game season. So it is what it is. But Avs right now still sitting in that second spot, still a very dangerous team. Again, you're defending Cup champions. So, yeah, you got to obviously keep an eye out on them through the Western Conference playoffs. The team that is still best in the West, Vegas Golden Knights. They sit at 98 points. Hot on their heels is the Los Angeles Kings. Vegas Golden Knights, again, losing last night at home against the Edmonton Oilers. Had an opportunity for Vegas to, if they were to win last night, again, had a chance to be the first team in the West to at least clinch a playoff spot. So that tells you how tight it is right now in the Western Conference. Again, not a single team with, again, about 9 games remaining, or 8 for a few teams, that no one has yet clinched the playoff spot in the West. Again, we've had teams eliminated, whether it's Arizona, Chicago, San Jose, and Anaheim. But outside of that, it's still very, very tight, at least contest, again, for those 3 at least guaranteed spots. And, again, the wild card positions for 1 and 2, whether it's out of the Central or out of the Pacific. So
you got 12 vying for 8 spots right now.
Yeah, plain and simple. I think the next team or at least the next 2 teams that are probably on the outer is St. Louis and the Vancouver Canucks. But outside of that, Calgary, Seattle, Edmonton, Los Angeles.
Predators.
Yeah, Predators, they sit at 82.
I think they're going to fade out.
Right now, again, who sits in your wild card position right now in the West would be at least Seattle Kraken and Winnipeg Jets. Right now, who's hot on their heels is you mentioned with the Nashville Predators. They're 3 points behind Winnipeg. Calgary's only 2 points behind them. So the benefit for Nashville is they played 2 less games than Winnipeg. So we'll see how that shapes up for the Predators. But again, right now as it stands, Vegas, LA, Edmonton out of the Pacific, Minnesota, Colorado, Dallas, those are your top 3 teams out of the at least Central and Pacific Division. Again, Colorado, same, Denver, got to respect them. They know what it takes. They did it last season. They're obviously gunning to at least come away with another at least Stanley Cup. But right now, again, out of the West, who is the best? The only team I kind of toss to the side is Minnesota. I really don't believe in this Wild team. I don't think they have enough to at least make a deep playoff run. But Colorado, Dallas has been consistently good. Colorado is getting healthy, which is scary. Vegas has been consistently good. They are dealing with injury bugs. And, again, if we can get Mark Stone back and a few other key pieces, especially with Jonathan Quick really stepping up in the net for the Vegas Golden Knights, we'll see how he can perform. Or, again, the Knights. Kings, they have been solid. Edmonton with Connor McDavid, you cannot deny what he can do in the playoffs. He knows how to ramp it up, similar to kind of a LeBron James situation. So right now, in those wildcard teams, Seattle, probably not. Winnipeg, probably not. They may shock an upper team. Who knows? Highly doubtful. But right now, it is a complete coin flip of who could come out of the West in the NHL. Out of the East, same. I would say out of the East, again, don't hand the crown to the Boston Bruins. Again, those top dog teams that win that President's Cup, again, are not guaranteed to even get out of the first round. Boston is really good. The Bruins are really good, but I find them as a team that could be kind of that entity that's shocked in the first round, because it seems like Boston throughout this season has kind of cruised into the 119 points, that they really haven't been tested. They are that talented, but when you get into that playoff format where, again, a game comes down to, again, a goal lead or, again, a 1-goal differential, who knows if Boston's ready to at least have those close contests.
Yeah. I think Carolina is probably your dangerous team in the East right now. I like Boston, don't get me wrong.
Tampa, who, again, faced off against the Avs last season for the Cup. Again, don't write them off. Again, they sit right now in the third spot.
I think Carolina right now is your most dangerous team in the East. Going back to the West.
Right now for the East, Carolina, yes. Boston, yes. Tampa, yes. Toronto, Toronto finds a way to exit out early.
Yeah.
Rangers with Patrick Kane. We know what he could do in the playoffs. Again, we saw that with him winning 3 cups with the Chicago Blackhawks. I think that's a big boost for them.
But not sold on the Rangers.
I think the Rangers can be absolutely competitive. Looking at the wild card on the east side for the Eastern Conference right now, it's the Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Behind them is the Florida Panthers at 79 points. Penguins at that 2 spot in the wild card are at 82 points. So, get a little bit of a hill decline for the Florida Panthers. But Islanders, Penguins, maybe give a little love to the Penguins just with Sidney Crosby, but he's not the same Sidney Crosby as, again, when they were winning the Cups back in the day. He can only do so much. They got a defensive issue out there in Pittsburgh. But
again, in my opinion, it's either going to come down to Boston, Carolina in the East. In the West,
I say it's Carolina, Tampa.
I like Vegas. I do like the Vegas Golden Knights for two reasons. And again, I would love to see them match up with the Avalanche in the Western Conference.
I don't think Av fans want that because Vegas has had their number in the playoffs over the past couple seasons.
And here's the reason why I say that. Just looking at pure numbers right now, I like both teams on the road. Vegas has a little better record at home than the Avalanche, but I do like both these teams on the road because, again, nothing's guaranteed with those.
Vegas has one of the better road records
with their
of
24-7-5.
So again, it tells you that Vegas, weirdly enough, struggle at home there at T-Mobile Arena, but again on the road they are phenomenal. So this is where for Vegas, you'd rather be the lower seed and play on the road, but instead, again, as it stands, you're going to be that number one seed, or at least potentially. Again, nothing is set in stone because, again, for Vegas, for L.A., for Edmonton, again, Vegas and L.A., they both have 8 games remaining, 7 for the Edmonton Oilers. But so it's still a lot of hockey yet to at least get underway, and anything and everything can change.
And the Avalanche are 24-11 on the road. So I like them. They're actually better on the road than they are away from than at Ball Arena.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Right now, the hottest team in the league would stand with the New York Rangers. They've won 3. Avs, same. Again, they've won 3 in a row, so keep an eye out. Avs, I think as much as I didn't write them off, but I figured they would just sit there at that 3 spot in the Central and, again, take on whoever, or at least at the time, again, a couple weeks ago was Minnesota. But the Avs have a legitimate shot right now to take over that Central Division. They're going to fight if they do vault over Minnesota, which, again, I think they will. Colorado right now just kind of plays chase to Vegas Golden Knights of who will be that number 1 seed in the Western Conference to take on Winnipeg, or, again, it's either right now, if Colorado's that 1 seed, they got to have the better points to take on the lower end of the wild card of the Winnipeg Jets, or will they see the Seattle Kraken? If I'm Colorado, if I'm Vegas, I'd rather be that true number one in the Western Conference, because I think Winnipeg is a lot more beatable than Seattle. Seattle scares me a bit. I don't think it's a team that's ready to make a deep run in the playoffs, but Seattle, I worry that they really ramped it up this year. They got some key players.
And they could make a run. That's just it. I think they could.
Not in the West.
I disagree with
against the Kings, again, Oilers, Knights, Avs, Stars. Again, the only team I toss aside is the Wild.
But everybody's been waiting for the Kraken to fall apart. They haven't. They've hung around.
I think they'll fall apart in the playoffs. I think, again, for franchises first out there, obviously, again, up there in Seattle, if they are to make it to the playoffs in that at least first home contest for the Kraken is going to be unbelievable. But I just don't think that franchise is ready to take on some of the elite teams here in the West. And again, that is Colorado, that is Dallas, that is Vegas, that is LA, that is Edmonton.
We go back, about 3-4 years ago, 3 years ago, where the Avalanche made a really miraculous run through the playoffs. I'm not saying that Seattle's going to do that, but they are a team that's going to sneak up on you. And nobody's expecting them to go far.
They'll give whatever 1 seed a fight. I don't think they'll get swept in that first round as it stands with them being in the wild card. But, and again, it looks like that's the only path forward for the Seattle Kraken is the wild card. They're at 88 points. Again, Edmonton is ahead of them at 95. So, again,
and I think Edmonton has, one more game under their belt. It'll be interesting to see. And, again, we'll get back and chat with that again.
Who is the best in the West? Again, obviously, I'm going to pull for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Avalanche are getting healthy at the right time.
Avs, you got to respect that. As they're getting healthy, they're a scary team. They're just as impressive, again, fully healthy as they were last season when they won it. So give them respect. Who is the crown jewel in the entire NHL? You want to hand it to Boston, but I just don't believe that they are. I don't think that, again, they're going to be that team. I just have that sneaking suspicion that will get bounced out early in the playoffs because a little too overconfident. Again, in the East, Tampa, give me Carolina, give me Rangers on that side. Who is the best? I'll pull for the Vegas Golden Knights. I think they can get it done, especially with the addition of Jonathan Quick. Get Mark Stone back. If you get Jonathan Eichel, at least Eichel to get at least a little bit. Again, he's been playing solid, but if he can step it up to a next level, all right, Vegas has a legitimate shot of winning the Stanley Cup.
If the Avs can kind of maintain status quo, get a body or two back, I don't think Vegas can match up with them. I really don't.
I think they can.
Well, I could see that being a 7-game series, and I could see the Avs getting that one at T-Mobile over the Knights.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, I messed up his name, Jack Eichel. I got Jonathan Quick on my mind. But either way, though, for the Vegas Golden Knights, if it comes down again of a Western Conference at least finals, which again that's pretty much the only way that Avs would face off against the Vegas Golden Knights, especially because, again, you play division, and then, again, Western Conference Final, you take on that Central Division opponent, but or at least potentially, again, if, for be it, again, Seattle were to at least move on that other side of the bracket, if that's how it stands. But, again, Vegas, I think matches very well against the Colorado Avalanche. The only issue I see with the Vegas Golden Knights going up against the Colorado Avalanche is more offense of Vegas taking on the defense of Colorado, especially with Makar in the back, at least back end. Goaltending is not all that impressive still for the Colorado Avalanche.
That's probably the weakness right now of that team. Would you agree? They do great job. They do a great job of penalty killing. Defensively,
goaltending and some of their lower down lines are an issue as well too. But
like I said, that right now is my concern. And the Avalanche can't go out on the ice every night and outscore teams 5-4, 6-5. It's not going to happen. So I'm still a little leery about who's between the pipes.
Yeah, again, right now for the Avalanche, again, kind of pick your poison on who you put in net. Again, it's been that ever lovely kind of at least rotating situation. Again, Vegas does it as well too, and obviously a lot other NHL teams. But again, there's not really that guy. Again,
there's not the blue chipper.
Yeah,
that's
right.
just it.
That's kind of the concern right now. Is again, who do you want in that net when you take on some of these teams or you go further into the playoffs? You're going to have to heavily rely on your defense, which, again, can complement or at least can stop. We saw that last season with the Avs. Again, that defense really stepped up and, again, got complemented by some high-powered offense. So, goaltending, it's an issue, but it's probably not – actually, it probably is the biggest issue, but thankfully they have solid defense to really at least complement the bad goaltending, or at least kind of the question.
Like I said, I think they do a great job in penalty killing. And again, defensively, they are solid. So, but again, in the rotation of the netminders, you look at, again, the Avalanche are going to eventually burn out. They can't, win 5-4, 6-5, like I said, and until they get some consistency. They're going to have to find that one guy who's going to get hot. And that's what happened last year during the playoffs. You had one guy that got hot. So, we'll see. And give the Avalanche their due, as I do the Vegas Golden Knights or the Bruins or Carolina Hurricanes. Hey, these teams ramp it up. They've been through these wars. They know what to expect. And again, I expect a very competitive playoff run by the four teams I just mentioned.
Yes and no, especially with Vegas, where again that is a new look Vegas team that. Again, the year, at least, go back to 2017, the magical run, again, the inaugural season for the Vegas Golden Knights to make it to the Stanley Cup, eventually losing that cup to the Washington Capitals. Again, that team is mightily different than where we stand here in 23. So that's kind of the issue for the Vegas Golden Knights is, again, you say they've been through those wars. Vegas really hasn't. They've been to the playoffs, but it's a completely different looking team.
How about 3 out of the 4 teams have been through the wars? Okay. All right, we got to wrap it up here.
Very quickly.
I heard you cough.
Who cares? Very quickly, we do want to mention on the hockey side as well, too. Give them some love. The Colorado Eagles did clinch a playoff spot in the AHL, again, for the Calder Cup. So they sit right now in the 4th spot, but they did clinch at least a playoff spot. So right now in the Pacific Division, the 4 teams that are at least in the playoffs, Calgary, the Wranglers, are the number 1 team in the Pacific. Behind them is the Coachella Valley Firebirds, Abbotsford Canucks, and then the Colorado Eagles. So again, Calgary, obviously, again, at least parent club with the Flames, Coachella Valley with the Seattle Kraken, Abbotsford with the Vancouver Canucks, and the Colorado Eagles with the Colorado Avalanche.
It's going to be a short run for the Eagles in this playoffs.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but they're there.
Yeah, out of the Central Division right now, again, you got Texas at top, Milwaukee, Manitoba, Iowa. Right now, again, probably who's going to be at least three down, at least Texas, Milwaukee, Manitoba are probably the. But yeah, again, Colorado, whoever they face, it's going to be a tough battle. I don't expect the Eagles to win a Calder Cup this season. It's going to be really tough, especially where a lot of love has been given to, again, the Calgary Wranglers, Coachella Valley, of what they've been able to do. You look at, on the other side, again, Hershey, Providence, that's out of the Eastern Conference. Hershey, that, again, is been one of the best teams in the
year
AHL.
In, year out, yeah.
So,
well, the same with the Eagles. They're going to have to do it through the road. That's the only way they're going to, even if they have a chance at the Calder Cup.
Yeah. So either way, though, again, shout out to the Eagles as they are at least on the playoff road. Again, they've wrapped it up. Again, they clinch a spot. They're not going to win the Pacific Division, but where they'll be at, again, I do believe if I last saw, again, with Abbotsford, they are tied point-wise at 77 with them. So they have a chance to move up, but, again, it'd probably be just only to the third spot. I don't think they're going to catch Coachella Valley, and, again, I don't think they're certainly going to catch Calgary on that side. So, but either way, Eagles playoff bound, so that's good to see.
As I check my clock here, I want to give just a little love here real quick to WrestleMania 39, sports entertainment. It's going to be at SoFi 2 nights, and then correct me if I'm wrong, both nights are already sold out?
I don't think it's fully sold out because, again, I keep on getting email updates that there are still floor seats available and a few others. I don't think it's fully sold out in SoFi. We'll see, especially because, again, ticket prices, granted, when I bought them, were a lot cheaper than what they are at least listing right now. So, yeah, again, it should be a fairly packed crowd, similar of last year out there at AT&T Stadium. So, but either way, for myself, again, as that'll allude to, again, next week, as we mentioned on the K-Ray Report side, same here with the Pro Show, we won't have any programs. Again, I'll be out in Los Angeles for the entire WrestleMania weekend. I'll be leaving here Friday morning to go catch some Friday Night SmackDown action, and then, again, attending WrestleMania 39, my third WrestleMania in a row. Looking forward to it. But should be thrilling. Again, a lot of exciting matches. Again, at least Hell in the Cell coming back to WrestleMania between Edge and Finn Balor on that side, so that should be exciting. Again, you have the championship battle, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. There's some big storylines.
Cena one.
And who knows
I like the John Cena matchup with Theory, Austin Theory.
Yeah, for the U.S. Championship, that'll headline night one there on Saturday out there at SoFi Stadium.
Lesnar going up against the Nigerian Nightmare.
Oh my! So it's a very solid card. Very looking forward to it. Again, I'll be out there for Friday Night SmackDown, Hall of Fame, both nights of WrestleMania, and again Monday Night Raw. Again,
who's going to the Hall of Fame? Thus far, I just know of.
You got Rey Mysterio, you got Great Muta, you got Andy Kaufman as your celebrity, which again respectable. Again, that feud between him and again that whole storyline between him and Jerry the King Lawler again was synonymous. Again, made a movie out of it as well too. So again, he's getting in. I do believe who else was recently announced? Stacy Keibler on the female side, and I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's just been those four that have been announced. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, who knows what else? Who knows what other surprise? Again, we are in Hollywood. Could there be a Rock sighting? Everyone is hopeful for it. I know I am. Again, could The Rock show up at a point in time at WrestleMania? One can only hope.
All right, and last but not least, we're going to go just real quick on Major League Baseball. We already talked about the Rocks and the Giants, where they're going to be at. The dismissal of JT Realmuto from the Philadelphia Phillies. And again, what do you hear?
I think it was an honest mistake.
Well, I know, but what do you hear now? AI, artificial intelligence.
Well, it's already in the minors, so it's inevitable to come to Major League Baseball again.
But are the Major League umpires really that stressed out about it?
Yeah, I think Major League umpires, yeah. Again,
They've been attituted in spring training.
You're losing your job without a doubt to AI, but again, who knows if they'll have another role. But again, especially with Angel Hernandez and what he pulled, again, a little too much of a power trip where, again, I think it was an honest mistake by the catcher by the Phillies where, again,
He was like,
I don't think
waiting, and he said, "Screw it, I'm out of here."
I don't think he was doing it on purpose. Again, it was just more so like, okay, I'm not going to hold my hand here for long. But again, Angel Hernandez tossing him out. Again, how many times have we talked with again, even with Angel Hernandez, or again, you go back with Joe West. Thankfully, he's done. But again,
Worst umpire ever.
But it's something that those umpires have got those kind of bad press about them for the reason of that you make bad calls. You make bad decisions. You have been inconsistently terrible behind the plate.
And it's been proven,
that,
too. It's been proven through media that you're not good. And, again, what gets me, especially with Joe West, you have umpiring schools. What the hell are you teaching these guys? And, again, you know, the mistakes. Angel Hernandez.
I think, honestly, or at least –
he's been lousy for years, Angel Hernandez.
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, umpire schools, obviously, you're supposed to be taught balls and strikes, and again, you kind of establish your strike zone. But it seems like it's more been focused on, you know, again, are we doing player control, crowd control? And again, I don't think they're emphasizing that too much in MLB. But again, look at some of the situations that we've had, again, with officials and referees on a youth side going up to collegiate, where, again, we've had fan issues, player personnel issues that, again, kind of take it a little too far, and you have to control that situation. So maybe that is, who knows, with the additional rules, is that something a little too daunting on these umpires, again, of reminding themselves about the pitch clock and all this other crap that is now established here in MLB.
Again, you know, let's not throw it on the poor umpires. You also have managers in respective dugouts that got to keep an eye on all this too, and how many trips they make to the mound, and no more shifting in certain cases.
Limited shifting.
Yeah, in certain cases. So again, you know, the rules every year have been changing,
and they're going to continue to change.
But for umpires, balls and strikes are still knees, and in some cases it's at the belt. It should be knees to the letters, and you got a black part on each part of the diamond plate. That's where your strike zone ends, and then everything inside the white part of the plate. So again, umpires, you know, the days of Dutch Renner, where, you know, they make that, you know, that type of deal, those days have come and gone. Okay, now you got regular umpires just going strike one, strike two, you're out, that type of deal.
Yeah, just probably collecting their salary and going home.
But
again, it's something
they got to be consistent. Joe West, as you mentioned.
Well, what's going to be consistent?
Zone.
It's going to be the AI. How would you be able to argue an AI that's going to probably down to a perfect millimeter, again, to say, here's your strike zone, this is what you get, the ball's within it, and there you go.
You have to set the strike zone. What will be the strike zone?
Which, again, is possible. Again, computers, it's not like we're working on 98 Windows where, again, it takes about a day to at least upload a program. No, again, we're dealing here in 23 where, again, you can preload, again, hey, here's height, here's your strike zone, boom, there it is, just automatically inputted right there, and that's how you go forward. So, again, we're moving towards AI umpires. Is it for the best for MLB? I still respect the fact of, again, of the human element of, again, determining that strike zone, or at least kind of going off of their vision. But it's gotten to the point, especially in the MLB ranks, and we're seeing it trickle on down. Again, we had some at least questionable or kind of interesting takes during, again, post-6 season, or at least a couple seasons that we've been covering here, them on 1480 Carry. But, again, it's kind of trickled on down that, how do you argue against an AI that is going to know, I wouldn't say perfectly, but pretty damn near perfect of, this is what you got, this is where it's at, here's the ball. And again, technology is your biggest friend right now, where, again, especially where you could probably load a ball with a sensor, that sensor goes across the plate, determines immediately. And again, this is not something that'll take a minute to process. No, it's instantaneously, and you go from there.
What makes me really upset about this, because, again, I'm a traditionalist, and again, I can tell you Angel Hernandez is one of the worst umpires. He now replaces Joe West.
I was going to say Joe West is probably all-time worst.
Yeah, but I mean, he replaces Joe West now as the worst umpire. But the point is, you're taking the human element out of the game. And again, humans make errors, and that's okay.
That's kind of the question right now. If you're MLB players, again, do you want that human element? And again, that includes for pitchers as well too. Again, what would you rather have? Would you have the complete accuracy of, again, an AI ump, or do you want the human element that can, again, go against you, go for you? Again, it's kind of that toss of the dice of, again, which way that umpire will determine that pitch. But it's something that, do you want perfect accuracy where, again, it's going to get it right every single time, or the human element that's going to get it right, going to get it wrong?
You can't argue with artificial intelligence.
Well, yeah, plain and simply, yeah, you won't be able to.
The human part of the game is you can go out and dispute a call. And again, now, everything's going to be, quote, perfect world. Don't like perfect world baseball.
That's what we're leaning towards. Because, again, it seems like there's more people complaining about umpires right now, again, of how imperfect they are. They'd rather have the perfect world. I think they're feeling the pressure, and I think they're taking it to another level. Again, what Angel Hernandez did the other day, I think he should. It was a screw up by Angel Hernandez.
I think he should be suspended too for a couple of games. And again, too,
I don't know about that.
I do, because again, that was such a short temper. You know,
and who knows what those two were jabbing on about? Again, we know
all throughout the contest.
But I'm just saying, yeah, who knows what else is said? And again, that was kind of the last straw. So, should he be suspended for a spring training game for a mishap? No, not really. Again, we'll see
if it comes out. Baseball players, though, when they have,
I wouldn't. Again, that might be on Manfred and all that craziness, but he's an idiot.
This guy's been the worst commissioner in my lifetime.
Yeah, I think plain and simple, he's one of the worst. He's one of the worst out of the four, and again, that includes Adam Silver, and again,
he's number
Goodell.
Three. Goodell is. Like I said, I have to put Bettman up at number one right now.
As one of the worst?
No, as the top commissioner.
Yeah.
Bettman.
He's got his flaws, but yeah.
Goodell. And then you got Silver, who's just him and Manfred. They tie for the most moronic commissioners ever assembled in professional sports. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue against that. Again, they're all got their flaws. Again, some worse than others. Yeah, I think Bettman's done the best for his sport. But yeah, again, it's kind of a flip of a coin right now for Silver, or for, again, at least for MLB. It's a situation that, yeah, they've. It'll be interesting to see when they step down from the commissioner roles of those sports and what happens post. But either way, but yeah, again, MLB with the rule changes, with all that, with the umpire. Again, we'll see what evolves from all this. Again, will this single incident cause AI to immediately be here for MLB? No, it's on its way, but again, who knows when. But like I said, it's another power trip move by an umpire that is known to have those power trip movies. That, again, Angel Hernandez is kind of proven over the past couple of years that, yeah, he's kind of taken over that role for Joe West, that you're not good. You need to go. Find something else.
Not so much. I'm telling you, instead of going into the locker room after the game and you reassess what you did, the Umpires Association needs to suspend him for a game. You need, if a ball player can get suspended for doing this, that, and the other thing, why can't umpires? And again, I think what he did, he exhibited way too short of a fuse.
Because maybe umpires are held to, I wouldn't say a different standard.
A lesser standard?
Yeah, probably. Again, it's something where, again, they're the law and order, so, hey, it ends with me, so I don't know. Again,
I'm sorry,
they're definitely held to a different
standard. Sheriffs could be jailed as well, too. Yeah. All right, we got to wrap things up. Again, program will re-air at 4 o'clock this afternoon. No program Monday, Tuesday,
and Wednesday
of next week. That's good. That'll give me 3 days of hopefully.
Like I said, I don't get back from LA until early Tuesday morning. So, yeah. So again, I'll be out there again, starting officially Friday morning out there in Los Angeles for WrestleMania weekend. So again, that's why we will not have a program. Is again Tuesday morning. I'll be returning back from LA. Back to Denver, and again, eventually up here to Cheyenne to at least get back. So again, no programs next week, and instead we'll get you back the week after that, which again will be starting calendar-wise. That'll be April 10th. So
and we'll see if you come back singing the old Randy Newman tune, "I Love L.A."
Doubtful.
Probably not going to happen. All right, we're going to wrap things up. So for Nick Proietti, I'm Larry Proietti. That wraps up the Pro Show for today. Take care. Have a wonderful Wednesday. And matter of fact, as we head into it, have a great weekend as well.